First of all, one of the most complex networks and one of those organizations which has a history of more than 100 years. So very difficult to change, very difficult to move, very difficult to go forward in a new way, right? When Prime Minister gave the target that we should transform railways because there is no other way to transform the country than transform the railways. Railways affects practically each and every aspect of our life, whether it is cargo movement, whether it is people movement. In a country which is billion plus, there is no other way to move people other than having a very, very strong and resilient railway system. So how do you change railways? How do you transform railways? So first, Prime Minister Saab himself attended a Chintan Satra. That was in 2016 or 15, that time frame. Very long, 2.5, 3 days session. Lots and lots of ideas came. Then out of those ideas were culled some key points, and one of the focus was transform the passenger experience. Why I'm telling this story is, in the context of Atmanirbhar Bharat, in the context of our own technology stack, where do we stand and how did we reach there? It's very important to know because one story will lead to 1,000 more stories. Each success leads to 1,000 more successes. Each failure teaches us many, many things. So 2017, he gave the target that we should we should have world-class train. As it happens, when this kind of target comes, the first thing that people do is buy a ticket, go to Paris, go to Germany, go to France, go to US, go to Japan. Nice pictures, nice brochures, good websites, and come back, say, this is the world-class train, let's buy. So good presentations were made. We have listened to all those presentations. He's one of the most patient listeners. He is very intense listener. 2.5 hour presentation with all numbers, and you will find him absolutely attentive. So he listened, he saw all those presentations. Then he said, no, absolute no. When we want to have a world-class train and we have an engineering ecosystem, a design ecosystem, which is developing for the entire world, why can't our engineers develop the world-class train? He gave that as the challenge. Believe you me, 2 साल के अंदर, and designing a train is not an easy task. Imagine a power plant of 10 megawatt running at a speed of 100 kmph, right? That's a train. That's a train. A power plant of 10 megawatt running at a speed of 100 plus kilometers per hour with people sitting in it. That's the complexity of that vehicle. That's the complexity of that machine. Aerodynamics, wheel, rail interaction, the way it accelerates, the way the track vibrations are absorbed. All those things have to be considered. The way air conditioning has to be absolutely perfect, because when the entire train is full, entire coach is full, you require much more air conditioning compared to when it is empty. So all kinds of things are there. With those challenges, the engineers designed, and the first train, first Vande Bharat was the name given by PM, that rolled out in 2019. And initially, like every machine, all of us are conversant with the way designs happen. First 2 machines were rolled out. They ran for the first two trains have actually run for 18 lakh kilometers. 18 lakh kilometers. That is, if you calculate 2n pi r as the radius of the earth, 2 pi r, right? Perimeter of the earth. 45 times they have moved around the entire globe. And this is when no spare rake was available, no spare train was available. Generally what happens is, if you design 10, You'll put 9 in operation, one will be kept in spare for maintenance and overhauling and all kind of stuff. These two trains ran without any spare. They ran very successful. The world started noticing it. Many forces started working to make sure that the next lot of trains doesn't come. But Prime Minister's resolve was absolute resolve. And he said, whatever standard of design was there in the first Vande, now you have to make a better Vande compared to that. Like good boss, here's the one of the finest bosses in the corporate India, two of the finest bosses sitting here, and many of the finest bosses sitting here. They'll always tell their people that, okay, great, you did well, but you must do up to here. Did well, you must do up to here. Did well. Isn't that? EBITDA is not enough. More. NI is not enough. More.